Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. Wednesday, classic rock. And today we're looking at an artist, again, that we've looked at before, but I acquired another new album. Today's show, thank you to my friend Colleen for dropping off a CD of Bob Seger's album, Ride Out. Now, we've talked about Seger before. Mainly we were looking at the 1970s, early 80s output, which most of us would consider the classic Seger era. Hollywood Nights, Stranger in Town, Night Moves, Against the Wind, those albums. Nine Tonight, the concert album. And yeah, that's one I really was following a lot of what Seger was doing. Early 1980s, Bob Seger was first concert for my wife and I. We went to open stadium concert, outdoors, and I'll tell you, he rocked the place. Silver Bullet Band. I mean, the tunes were excellent. The band was hot. He was just great performing. I think of one particular thing stuck out in my mind. I mention this to people whenever I tell them about the Seger concert. One concert song featured sax solo by Alto Reed, which, again, was one of the great things of that band. He really added an element of fire and excitement. And you could hear the solo, but you couldn't find him on stage. And when you looked up, there was Alto Reed on the top of the stacks of amplifiers, walking across the top of them on the stadium, honking out the saxophone solo. I mean, whoever saw that, it was just great. And that was the kind of show he was putting on. And that was, again, during what I consider really the heyday of Bob Seger, that late 70s, early 80 period. And we hadn't heard from him for quite a while. Then about 2006, he put out an album on his own here. Bob Seger, Face the Promise. Trying to get that so you can see that. There you go. Now, Bob Seger, not Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. He's doing some stuff on his own. And this album, while a little different, again, all the songs except for one were written by Bob Seger. So you're getting that, input from him. His performance, still good. I hear a lot of players. And, I think of this with Gordon Lightfoot. I saw it with Meatloaf and a few others. As they're getting older, they just can't recreate what they did back in the 70s or 80s. It just happens, right? Seger still seems to be able to have that powerhouse performance, although sometimes he's choosing to change that up in the tunes. This one, what really stuck out is different. We've got a song on here, all of them written by Bob Seger, except one written by Vince Gill. And it's a duet with Bob Seger and Kid Rock called Real Mean Bottle. I think we talked about this album earlier, so I'm not going to go over a lot of it. I'll just give you a rundown of what the tunes were in case I didn't cover it as much. But again, these are all new tunes, and this was at an era when I don't remember Seger getting a lot of airplay. Now, I must confess, in the 1990s, 2000s, maybe it's just me, I wasn't listening to a lot of radio, right? I listened to my music on CD in the car or on cassettes, maybe even at this time. I was listening to the music I wanted to hear. I wasn't listening to what radio was putting out. So that could have been on me. I don't know whether any of these got a lot of airplay at the time it came out. Okay, tunes. We got Wreck This Heart, Wait For Me, Face the Promise, the title tune, No Matter Who You Are You? Just a little shot of Bob there on the bike. Again, I'm reading from the booklet that came with it, which also has all the lyrics. So if I want to sing along, that's great. If I want to find out who's playing on there, it's all listed down below, right? I got all kinds of information in the booklet. But I don't like about digital downloads, but that's a whole other story, right? That you don't get that kind of stuff. No More, Simplicity, Won't Stop, In Between, Answers in the Question, and Long Goodbye. Now, quite a while since he'd done the last album, 2006, when this one comes out. We got a long stretch in between that and the Ride Out album that Colleen gave me. This one, different for a couple of reasons. Recording in Nashville, using more studio musicians, cover tunes. I got a number of songs here that are written by people that aren't Bob Seger, right? Because, on here we had one. Vince Gill also guests on here for, for another tune playing and singing. And This one came out, I'm going to say about 8 years after the other. I'm going to say 2014. So it's a long time in between albums. Now, what struck me as funny, Detroit Made, title or first cut off the album. Welcome back. Technical difficulties. I don't know what happened there. The picture cut out. Anyways, back with Bob Seger. I mentioned the first cut off the album, Detroit Made. You think Seger tune, it's got to be, right? It's Detroit. It's a rocker. How could it be anybody but Bob Seger? Turns out it's written by John Hyatt. And you know, we've talked about Hyatt before too, quite a few episodes ago. Excellent songwriter, performer. A lot of tunes recorded by other artists. First one off his album here, cover of John Hyatt's Detroit Made. We got the song Hey Gypsy, Devil's Right Hand, a song by Steve Earle. Okay, so we're getting back there, right? Very diverse. And actually there's a couple of real country type tunes on this album as well, which are very different from what I'm used to hearing from Bob Seger. He's changing it up a bit, but you know, it's still him putting it out there. It's still his words, his delivery, his performances. It's not Silver Bullet Band, but it's some pretty good stuff to check out. I mean, if you're a Seger fan, this is still Bob Seger, you know, giving you his best at this point. We got Ride Out, Adam and Eve, written by Casey Chambers and Shane Nicholson. California Stars by Woody Guthrie. Boy, there's reaching back, right? Woody Guthrie. Again, how would you get further away from what we're used to with Bob Seger than to get to that? That reminds you of Arlo Guthrie, Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, these kind of guys, the folk tunes with Woody Guthrie tune in there. It's Your World by Bob Seger, All of the Roads, You Take Me In, and Gates of Eden. Not the Bob Dylan version, right? Bob Seger again still. Yeah, and he's recorded in Nashville. Some great stuff in here, right? I got again a booklet that came with this. We've got words. We got information about who's playing. Nice little concert video there, or video photo. And a couple of photos to wrap up with. And it's a long time in between Seger albums. And I'll tell you, this one I didn't know about. I knew about the one there, Face the Promise. I didn't know this one was out. I know he performed, he did a tour back in the late 2000 teens, whether it was around 16 or 14, I can't remember, because I bought my wife a tour shirt because we couldn't get there. He was touring around the States. He did a couple of dates in Canada, but nothing near where we were going to be, or we sure would have been there. And again, just an excellent performer. He brought us a lot of great tunes, a lot of great excitement during the 70s and 80s, and he's still out there performing and playing. If you're looking to get back and check out some of this, again, I couldn't find this on the streaming networks. I found a couple of the tunes listed on the streaming networks. Hard copies, maybe second hands. This one, no, Colleen told me that she didn't pay a lot for any of these. She got them either given to her or picked them up at some of the secondhand stores. So there's still some great stuff out there, and a lot of the material I'm getting in, even the albums I was getting before, they said a lot of those they picked up just for a couple bucks here and there. You know, it wasn't that this stuff is expensive, and a lot of people have these in their collections, and you know, they're just getting rid of it. Again, not a lot of people are listening to albums. Not a lot of people are using CDs anymore. We've all gone digital, so you might be able to pick a few of these up if you check around yard sales, rummage sales, secondhand stores. There's some great treasures out there. Anyways, that's it for Wednesday. Classic Rock, a later outing of Bob Seger without the Silver Bullet Band. Ride Out. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Okay, that's it for Wednesday. Friday, hey, we're back with classic 80s music. Join us for that. Till then, everybody take care. Stay safe. See you on Friday.